Hello. I just want to see if this one works. Testing. So I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to come here and talk to you about my experience from teaching abroad in South Korea, or if you guys want to know what it's like to teach abroad, if you want to get some advice or get some intel on how to secure a teaching abroad job overseas. I guess it's an incredible opportunity for everyone, so why not? But the real reason why I wanted to come in here with you today, this is like non-editing, no script, no script, no notes pre-handed. I just wanted to share with you what was my teaching abroad experience was like, and if you have hopes and still have desires, whether if you want to teach or to secure a job overseas, why not? I feel like everyone should do it. It just gets a chance for you to see a different side of things, and you get to build more of your life there than you do from your regular life from home. If you don't know me, welcome to this channel. Welcome to your experience. This is your chance to learn about me and learn about what I've done when I was teaching abroad in South Korea. So a brief background about me is that I'm a Canadian citizen. I was born in Canada, and I've always wanted to be somewhere where I'd like to be abroad. I love traveling. And one of the most exciting things about traveling is that some expats, other, citizens abroad, tend to either find work or end up, staying in a country for, specific reasons, whether they have to study or whether they have to work. For me, I wanted to teach for a very long time. It was kind of like a secret hidden passion of mine, and I still do teach now. I'm still trying to build a teaching career, hopefully. So this whole plan for me when I wanted to teach abroad was back in 2019, 2018, let's say 2018. I had some close classmates of mine, some close colleagues that I've known from school, and they always told me that, hey, if you ever want to do some tutoring or if you want to do some teaching, try teaching overseas. Maybe it'd be good for you. But I did it in South Korea, and they've all had their experiences, and it was pretty great. I think it was more of a shared learning experience, as they call it, when you decide to teach abroad, because you're going to be in a different country, you're going to be learning new and totally different things, and you'll be able to understand different cultures when you get there. When I was living in Canada at the time, I remember I was talking to some of my friends. I said, hey, what did you have to do in order to teach abroad in South Korea? What are the steps? So one of the most requirements that I've often heard, or to get into specific schools or programs to hire you, would have to be the EPIC program, the JEPIC, or trying out, private, which is Hagwon. And if you know about Hagwon, then but with all due respect, I think that all sort of institutions have their own form of way of constructing it. It always depends on who's running in these kinds of institutions. Not to put any bad disclaimer on any of the schools, but I've heard while I was even in South Korea, I've heard many of other teachers of experiences when they were there, and they've told me, hey, there are pros and cons to everything, right? From what I remembered of one of the requirements is that you have to have a bachelor's degree, and some indications rely on having a TEFL or a TESOL certificate. So if once you have those couple of things, you should be good to go, and then therefore you should get everything notarized and apostilled and so forth. So the point of the video, I really wanted to address the whole year of coming back, and what was it like coming back, and was I able to do a lot of things that I get to do over there. So from what I remembered specifically is that I think I've told you guys from the very beginning of the video that I wanted to tell you about my experience and how did I get there and what happened when I was there and when I came back. So it's been over a year since I came back, and every single day, usually on some times of the week, sometimes of the month, I kind of think about, oh my God, like I can't believe I was there, because I was just looking at old photos, old videos, and old stories from my Instagram, or some pictures that I posted from recent times during my Snapchat, and I missed so much of what I did there because I did a lot of things there. I think I did a lot of solo traveling, and I got to meet a lot of different people. I got to explore so much lovely cafes, and I got to travel to Busan so many times because it was literally next door to me. But at the same time, I really do miss the feel of it. It's always going to be a home to me. I'm not going to lie to you. And I think there's some good things that I remember, all the good things that I remember when I was there. Whenever I look back, it's like, oh, what a difficult time that happened, because I don't know if any would have done it, but I remember whenever I told people about, like, hey, this is what I had to do, they were like, I could never. They go like, I could never, but it was me, it happened. But yeah, so what I wanted to share, particularly how I got there and what happened when I was there, was crazy and mind-boggling, because people would think, like, why would you do such a thing? Like, that's crazy, that's so dangerous. But basically how it happened was that when COVID happened, let's just say, like, when there was a huge lockdown in 2020, I was so ready to go. So I waited until, let's just say, a year after. I remember I signed a contract. It was a Hagwon. It was a private school I worked at, and it was such a lovely private school. It was so cute, so pretty, and it was just literally at ease working there, because I loved it so much, and I loved working with the kids, and I loved working with my teachers. They were just so nice, and everybody was so great. I actually learned a little bit of Korean before I went there, because I was a little kind of cautious about the area where I would be situated. I did not live in Seoul. I did not live in Busan, but I did mention in the previous minutes ago of the clip, I did mention I was a bit close to Busan. So it was a city called Gimhae-si. So I think the most funniest thing that I remember going there was that when I was getting my paperwork ready, and when I was ready to get all my stuff sorted out, a lot of the agencies, or the, what do they call it, the people that worked at the embassy or the consulate, they were kind of shocked because they didn't expect schools to be open. So I remember it was a huge process for me to get there. And at the same time, when I arrived there, I remember I was supposed to leave like around July 2021, and they told me to come around June 2021 because of quarantine rules. So because of quarantine rules, they kind of expected people to be there. When they arrive, they have to quarantine, because that was a new law that was passed. And it was quite scary because, anything could happen, right? Like, people could go to a country and let's just say they decide, hey, I could, not be here and just go to another country. I could just like break the COVID rule. What are they going to do? But the fact that they had to take specific procedures, and, in Korean culture, they're very built on time. It's like, I remember my my recruiter at the time, who was helping me with this process, and my head teacher telling me, yeah, you got to leave. And I was telling my aunt and my mom about this, and my mom was like, there's no way you can go. Like, this is impossible, because it was just something that was not ready for anyone. We're not ready even for me, but I did it. But basically what I was trying to say is that the situation when I left, when I was leaving, or when I was getting ready to go, I got a call from one of the head teachers at the time, and she was explaining to me, she said, so your flight ticket is booked, okay, it's already covered, because that's something that we do here for school teachers. And when you arrive to the airport, you got to catch the limousine bus. You need to catch a limousine bus. And I remember, like, we as, like, I guess Canadians or people from the West, we don't really care much about it. We're like, yo, what if I miss it? Or what if I don't show up? What if I don't really, I don't really, get there on time? They're like, oh no, you have to be there on time. Like, it's a must. Like, you need to be there on time. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, that's what it was. I remember they told me to take a train because no domestic flights were not available. And I remember like I took a train, and then I remember I had to be on that train, and then once I got off, I remember the head teacher at the time, she was explaining to me, someone's gonna call your surname and they're gonna yell out your name. So when you hear your name, you literally go to that person. It's like a government official, and they're gonna bring you to a car. It was literally a taxi vehicle. So it was like, it was very strange because it was me and this other guy. And I remember he came from like 6 or 7 different countries, and he said I couldn't take a flight straight to, South Korea because of, COVID. And I remember it was very strict for them, but they said, and they were wondering like, hey, how did you get there? Like, how are you here? And I'm like, oh, I got a job, so I'm thinking I could work here. And then they're like, oh, okay. I didn't think schools were open. I thought all schools were closed. Mind you, I'm thinking like, oh my God, like maybe my school's closed. But anyways, so this is like literally the last part that I'm gonna say this. As soon as I kind of exchanged that conversation with that guy I was with in the taxi car or that vehicle, I would say it's a taxi, but it looks like a taxi, but it's not. I don't know what it was, but okay. Let's just say it's a taxi. I think when I was trying to share about, like, oh, like we kind of say, hey, yeah, take it easy, take care, all the best. And then, we just said our goodbye. I think, long story short, at the very end of my car ride or the car share that looked like a taxi, that was a car, or was it a taxi? I would say it's a taxi. It felt very dystopian. I don't know why this experience felt dystopian in the beginning for Arrival, but then, hey, it's life. That's how it happens. That's what they had to do in order to follow COVID procedures. But, in a way, the whole process to me was so helpful, because if I would have never listened, or if I would have just went like, hop off on it, I'm not doing it. I think at the very end, when I was sharing the car with the guy, I mean, he was very nice, very, very sweet, very kind. He asked me, don't be afraid to ask so many questions, use your 2 weeks quarantine to like, when you're quarantining, like do something what you can do. Don't just watch Netflix all the time, but try to do something. But literally when I got to my apartment, I got a letter, and they kind of said something like, you cannot leave out of the premises. You have to wait till someone comes in and, comes in and tries to inform you to do a checkup, which I had to do, and it was fine. I remember my head teacher at the time, she brought like so much food, like she brought iced coffee every day. She was so sweet. And I remember I got like some extra like stuff from like a meal care packet that they do for the expats, or for teachers that are arriving from from elsewhere and who are quarantining. I swear, I think for 2 weeks for quarantining, it really got to me. I could not handle it, but it felt very surreal, because I still remember every single time, like when I'm like going on the bus, when I'm driving my car, when I'm going out for my walk, when I'm talking to my sister, when I'm doing some household chores or something, like I always remember that kind of awe feeling of like, you were just there, you came back, and you were there. And then, but honestly, I do miss it. I do miss the times that I got to do there, because there's so many things that I loved. And I met such great people, and I made some wonderful friends. And I did a lot of solo traveling. And I remember the coffee shops, which were so amazing, because like they had such unique coffee, culture there that I've never seen before. The convenience stores, the GS25, the E-Mart, the grocery stores opening until 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Those are the things that I kind of miss sometimes, because it was just a very safe, walkable environment. And, hopefully, in the future, if there's like a time, again, absolutely, I would love to travel there again, if I want to do some shopping, or if I want to like visit or catch up with my friends again. It's just, I do miss the experiences that I got to do there, honestly, because it was one of the best experiences during the pandemic. And, when the pandemic was sort of over at the time, I got to do more things like travel other countries, and got to see other new people and do a lot of great things. So, yeah, there you have it. I don't know what else to say at the end of the video, but in case if I do decide to talk more about teaching abroad experiences or anything in regards of what you guys want to know, I'd be happy to, you know, share them with you. I apologize if this video was just very like not organized or not edited properly, but I did the best that I could to share my I guess my life there. But anyways, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and you guys take care, and all the best, and bye.